We've been told the U.S. isn't worried about the strain. Everything's fine.
The economy is doing great.
Bitcoin's tanking because of quantum. It's going to 10K, bear market. No, wrong, incorrect. So what's happening? There's no liquidity in the system. There is no liquidity for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons, the government had just shut down. Liquidity will come back now that the government is reopened. Another reason, there was a weird September surplus that was probably an accounting trick, but nonetheless aided to growing the TGA, growing the Treasury General's account. Again, that takes liquidity out, and they're doing that because of the amount of indebtedness the United States is in. There's no liquidity in the financial system, and Bitcoin's the only free market that can tell us the truth. QT's ending, QE's starting, rate cuts, Trump gets to appoint his own Fed chair, Japan is blowing up and needs a bailout, AI is blowing up and needs a bailout, but when you do bail out AI, and it goes on to be successful, the success is going to unemploy half of the entry-level white-collar jobs. It's going to send unemployment to 20%. That then will force the U.S. government to print more money because they're not going to get enough tax receipts to afford the interest payments on their $38 trillion of debt. Did I get that right? And the only finite fixed supply asset in the world is going to go down?
And that's Jack Mallers giving you his take on basically the playbook that is going to be happening in the years to come. We're seeing this happen in present day and what is to come. Like, it's just common sense when you understand the macroeconomics and how all these things are intertwined and correlated with one another. The answer is, at the end of the day, stack sats, Bitcoin to the moon. And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another Bitcoin Bros video. Before we get started, if you guys ain't got your big caps yet, make sure you check us out at www.bigcaps21.com with a couple signature lines just for you. Check them out. Bitcoin coming in over 91,000. Current time is recorded 91.3K. What do we see? What do we anticipate? The bottom has occurred. And where do we go from here? Is this a dead cat bounce? We'll talk about all this. Look at the charts. What do we see? So right here, you see we bottomed out. RSI bottomed out. Didn't really get any type of divergence, just a bottoming out pattern. Now, could we come back down and put a lower low in? That is still to be determined, meaning if we come back and do something like this and retest this line and then put in a higher low of the price action, that would be then some type of divergence. So keep that in mind. But right now, if we do get a continuation going into the holiday and going into what we see coming into year end. Before we look at the VPVR, look here. This is the daily. The daily is getting into overbought territory. Step into the 2-day. What do we see? We're still up and to the right. So there's still more time to go up. And then the 3-day is looking like it is curling up as well. And then let's zoom out on the weekly to see what we see. We do see some type of cross here in the stochastic RSI. We haven't really got all the way down in overbought territory, but that is not necessary per se. The level to pay attention to here is at the 44.4 range. Let's get rid of this white line here. And right now we're below it. So we're putting in a lower low. That's something to note here. There is, double bearish divergence, putting in a lower low. So we could be seeing this as a relief rally. Now, what do we see next? What are the levels to pay attention to? Looking on the weekly, we see that the next major level to pay attention to, per the VPVR, we came down to this level and stayed right here. The next level to where we see some type of significant resistance. Massive level is, and one to look at is 93. Another one to look at up here is the 102 range. That's on the weekly. Let's look on the lower time frame. Let's look on the daily to see what we see. Shows a little bit more of a story. We got through the 88 range pretty easily. Can we come back down and back test that potentially? But the next level to pay attention to is up here at the 107. But we do got some traffic here around the 101 range. Now, what Bitcoin will do, if we look to the back, to the left of the charts, we see that 101 range, there is some confluence. We see it here, here. So what does Bitcoin do going into the year end? If we slash through this, get back above 110 comfortably, all-time high testing is what is to come. Heard it here first, not financial advice. And then strategy, there's some FUD going on. Is this what is going to be the next moves for MicroStrategy? It could be. We could be getting this bounce. Looking back into the left of the charts, you see that's where the confluence is. We had a gap here that came back, got filled, double bottom before it went up and put a higher high in, and then fell down to where it is right now. With Bitcoin getting ready to have this rally to the upside, could we just tap this once, get a double confirmation, potentially some type of bearish divergence, and then put a lower low in? Let's take a look at strategy. Zoom in on the price action. This is on the daily. What do we see? So we're in a downtrend still. We haven't even had that pop, that break out of this down white line. So that's the first thing to pay attention to. RSI seems to double bottom. This could be a double bottom out, and stochastic RSI seems that there is more leg room to run to the upside. So if we do get that upside rally, where are the levels to pay attention to? First level, that 200 range. If we get back above 200, there's a good chance we're going to go back up to close to 300, 295 to 300 range. And so there's the 200, the 300 level, and then above that, you're looking at the 330 range. If we get back above that, we're going to be most likely back up near all-time high territory. Now this was a spike up here, but as you see, the BPVR, those are the levels. 200, 300, 330 might be the last boss before we get back up to new all-time high territory. Donald Trump's weighing in on what he is seeing for markets and what his take is. Let's hear from the President of the United States.
I only care about one thing. Will we be number one in crypto? Crypto has turned out, and in that sense, I've been right. Crypto's turned out to be a massive industry, if you want to call it that. And I'm very proud to say that we are far and away ahead of China and everybody else. Now, China's getting into it very big right now. If you want to go after people, you're going to kill that industry, and it'll be very bad. Tremendous number of jobs.
So, but what his main thing is, what we want to take out of this clip here is that he wants the U.S. to be number one in crypto, leaders in Bitcoin industry. Understand what's going on and what the president is doing. He can now pick his Fed chair in the short to midterm in the upcoming months. I think it's towards the end of Q1 of 2026. And with Jerome Powell getting out of there in a crypto friendly Fed chair, could be ready for blast up to the upside. And right here, Tom Lee is weighing in, and he's giving his take on what he sees for the end of this year. Let's hear from Tom.
For a really strong rally into year end. And I know we just came out of a pretty terrible grind. I've talked to a lot of PMs that have said it's one of their worst 6-week periods ever in their career. So we know people lost money, they've de-risked. But we know into year end we have the positive seasonals, especially given how strong the May to October was. You know, it's really a 5 to 6 chance that we're going to be up 5% into year end.
Right.
The second is monetary policy, I think, is going to shift dovish. Even if Fed Chair Powell is hawkish, we know it waiting in the wings is now a shadow Fed that's dovish. The third is we know sentiment is going to have to chase this rally because 80% of fund managers are trailing their benchmark. And then I think the fundamental story is pretty intact.
So Tom Lee's giving you his take, and he's talking about the Fed being hawkish, but that shadow Fed, the new Fed chair that could be coming in, being dovish. There's going to be rate cuts that are coming, whether they come aggressively going into year end. He's calling a rally into year end. What happens in Q1 we'll reassess come the end of December, but all you have to know is that there is more upside for markets. Let's see what the market gives us going into December, which means there's levels to pay attention to the upside on Bitcoin. We went over those, but there's the latest from Tom. And right here, Mr. 100 is buying this dip at 3 to 6x times more than the usual rate. Look at what he historically has did, and now he's tripling and 6xing those buys. as of late? Does he sense something big coming? All the FUD that's been going on around strategy, look why. JP Morgan and trying to compete with strategy taking over the Bitcoin preferred markets. Look at this big 51% move as far as the massive liquidity flowing into these products that is going to be used to buy up Bitcoin. Understand what is happening. So this is the take right here. We're out the woods as far as breaking out of this downtrend, potentially. Could be a dead cat bounce, potentially. Could we get continuation into year end? Potentially. Though we're not out the woods yet, we still have some levels to get through. Is Bitcoin in a bear market? Are we in a bull market? We're seeing the sentiment across the board 50-50. And the reality is people don't know. It is a lot of macroeconomic factors at play that could be very positive for markets, specifically Bitcoin and risk on assets, or the negative, depending on how those macro factors play out. Right now, the technicals are showing us there's more room to the upside, but once again, will the dead cat bounce, if this is one, sustain, take us back up to new all-time highs, or will we just fizzle out around that $98,000 to $100,000 range? You be the judge. With that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we appreciate each and every one of you. With that, I'm out.